Live from Lasft, Olympic coverage with BSRN. And good morning, I'm Thomas Hamilton with the Bergnovinaian Sports Radio Network and its affiliates. Everything today's show is Olympics. We will first look at the opening ceremonies. Were they a great or were they a flop? I'll tell you. We will also look at the Matchday 1 coverage here in Lasft, as well as the continuing riots throughout Huruk over not receiving the games and the high tax rates in Kathmandu. And we will take a quick look at the Under-18 Basketball Championships in Karasatoga, the Weaker Sex World Cup, the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships in Kota Bottoms, and the Under-21 Baseball Championships in Nuministan. Without further ado, let's jump straight into sporting headlines. So, as you probably noted in that little blip, I actually lied to you. We have a few things to cover before we jump straight in to our continuing Olympic coverage. The first on the list is the Under-18 Basketball Championships in Karasatoga, where Bergnovinaian is doing surprisingly well. Yesterday, Bergnovinaian in Matchday 8 defeated Croatia 104-68. That leaves Bergnovinaian with a 147.4 points against differential. They're the second highest in the entire tournament, with only Karasatoga leading by a few points. With several more match days to play, it is very disturbing to think that Bergnovinaian might actually fall out of the first place position. They currently sit at a 6-2 record, with Nuministan and Dominican very close behind with a tied 5-3 records. If Bergnovinaian was to lose to Dominican, that could leave a serious problem for their qualification. Turning now to the Weaker Sex World Cup in Belgrava and the Rithor. Arithor's matches have gotten back underway after the referee riot had ended. Arithor now is in matchday 3 of the group stage, whereas the Delaklavan end of the tournament is already in the playoffs. Bergnovinaian defeated Altameris 2-0 at Quintus Memorial Stadium in Carinthia with 85,000 spectators watching. Feng Yang Tao scored both goals. She has been pinned one of the most brilliant strikers in women's soccer ever, especially from Bergnovinaian. Bergnovinaian will face Arithor in the semi-finals. Looking quickly at other scores, Arithor faces Bergnovinaian very soon in the semis, and they had trouble defeating Wolfmane. It took extra time. It was 1-1 at the end of normal time, 2-1 after extra time. The Babbage Islands had no problem defeating Sarzonia at Golden Phoenix Field in Carinthia. They had 150,000 spectators watching in that stadium as they defeated Sarzonia 3-0. It should be noted that Kornelskoik has one of the most surprising performances as they totally thrashed Libre Brunoquin at Aiden Levy Memorial Stadium 5-1. Turning now to the Under-21 Baseball Championships in Nuministan and the World Ice Hockey Championships in Kota Bottoms. Currently in the Under-21 baseball playoffs, Bergnovinaian faces Kasadigua. Bergnovinaian lost 10-5 last night, but the game is best of 3. So, we shall see if Bergnovinaian can win the next two. It's highly unlikely as Kasadigua produces some of the best baseball players internationally. They did very well at the World Baseball Classic. Now, looking at the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships, the 3rd edition in Kota Bottoms. Bergnovinaian is surprisingly not faring well even though it sent women's players to the tournament. It was expected that Bergnovinaian would be one of the top players in their group, but rather, they are quite the opposite, sitting in 5th place with several draws and even a loss. Yes, folks, the Olympics are well underway in Lasft, Kathmandu. Last night, we saw the opening ceremonies in Kathmandu, and while some are deeming it the best ever, others, such as myself, are deeming it fairly close to a disaster. It was rather bizarre because things started out with the traditional artist performances, one of which was a Portuguese stand-up comedian where Bergnovinaian and many other nations that do not speak Portuguese or speak English, Spanish, or French had no idea what the hell he was saying. When it came to the Parade of Nations, there was also bizarre times when nations such as Afghanistan, which now and still does give me problems, entered. Reporters were flipping through their books quickly, looking for how to pronounce certain nations. On top of that, the Landau Institute, one of the most famed Olympic delegations, was met with boos and hisses from the Catherine Days because of their rivalry. That was not a warm welcome at all, and I'm glad that I'm not a reporter for that delegation. Once it came to opening the ceremony's scheduled speaker, Emperor Raoul I was too drunk to speak properly, so Marcus Menzer had to make an announcement and a speech himself. And finally, when the Olympic torch was lit just in time, a surprising burning intensity more than it should caused a risk of a fire, and it had to be controlled immediately. It was a very bizarre Olympics, but I can see why some think it was good. It was rather entertaining to watch. And with these Olympic Games open, there were continuing riots in Herat, Bergnovinaian over not receiving the Games. People there believed that the Olympic Committee should spread the wealth with their votes. The continuing riots were also over the large Kafuandi's tax rate that they put even on tourists at these games. And now we can look at the events of Matchday 1 that will be underway as we speak. Archery, men's and women's, they will be having their individual ranking rounds. Bergnovinaian is expected to be seeded highly in these rounds. Badminton will see the men's and women's individuals first rounds. Bergnovinaian has solid delegations in badminton, so that should be expected to do well. Basketball will see the women's Matchday 1, where Bergnovinaian will do fantastic. The fencing delegation is solid, so the women's foil first rounds probably shouldn't be an issue for them. In football, we will see the men's and women's first match day, where Bergnovinaian will undoubtedly do well. The same for handball. In the medal events such as judo, the men's 60 kilograms and the women's 48 kilograms, and shooting the men's 10-meter air pistol and the women's 10-meter air rifle, Bergnovinaian isn't expected to even be close to earning a medal. Swimming can probably do well for Bergnovinaian in all the men's and women's events of the day. In the tennis event, in both the men's and women's singles first rounds, Bergnovinaian is expected to do well. Nicole Williams is out for a gold, as she medaled last time with a bronze. In volleyball, beach, men's and women's matchday 1, the Bergnovinaian teams will undoubtedly do well as in the indoor floor competition in the women's matchday 1. Weightlifting medal events probably won't see any Bergnovinaian up there. And in Rugby 7's, the Women's Matchday 1, Baseball Matchday 1, and Softball Matchday 1, the demonstration events, it'll probably go well for Bergnovinaian. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to the Bergnovinaian Sports Radio Network, nation-state's most decisive sporting news network. For everybody here at BSRN, I'm Thomas Hamilton. In order to get the latest and greatest news and sporting news headlines, please visit our webpage at bsrn.webs.com or visit our Tumblr page. Thank you and good night.